Alrighty, I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso. Thank you for tuning into our 2 o'clock live weather update. It is an active weather day along the Gulf Coast, at least this morning was. And as we head into this afternoon, we'll see a bit more of a clearer picture, a bit more of a more subtle weather picture for a few hours before the rain returns tonight in full force for your Saturday. So we're going to break down the forecast. We're going to go over a few things. I'm monitoring the comments here, so make sure you say hi. I have my laptop with me, and I'll be answering your questions as well once we get towards the end of this. I've allowed a little bit of extra time for us to address some questions, so say hi. I'm going to go over the big picture first, and then we're going to go from there. So we are starting with the big weather picture. This is the upper air chart at 500 millibars. This is up there in the atmosphere. A few things that we're looking at here. We have troughing in the central United States. It's moving our way. That's kind of generating the energy for the thunderstorms and showers that we're seeing today. You can see this little dip here in the flow. That is the trough that is causing the energy. You can see the whiteness here. That's all that moisture being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's our main energy source for the system that's moving through. And we can see that represented really well on the satellite and radar picture. We have an impressive batch of storms to our south right now. So here in the Fox 10 viewing area, we're just mainly cloudy. However, to our south, we have a batch of thunderstorms that is ongoing in the Gulf of Mexico. Actually separate from the thunderstorms that passed us earlier this morning, and that is continuing to kind of take some of our energy out. It's kind of cutting off our southerly flow. So right now we're in a period where we're not seeing any showers or storms around. Here's a closer look at the high resolution radar. This is a loop over the past 4 hours, and we can see that band of storms that moved through this morning. You woke up this morning to thunder. You were one of the areas that saw one of the thunderstorms. We had 2 areas that were particularly strong. One that went through Bay Minette, northern Escambia County, Florida, southern Escambia County, Alabama, northern Santa Rosa, northern Okaloosa County. And then we had another thunderstorm that went across, say, Dauphin Island, Fort Morgan, and Gulf Shores, Orange Beach before it moved offshore. So 2 areas of stronger thunderstorms. Otherwise, we saw light to moderate rain. And we can see where that rain is now. This is the live sweep of it. Fort Walton Beach areas in southern Okaloosa County, all the way to Walton County and over to Bay County, getting light showers right now, but no real thunder associated with this. The current conditions, we're in the 70s right now. We had a warm front that passed overnight, introducing that warm air that we've been dealing with today. You may have woke up this morning and were like, oh my goodness, it's so warm outside. Yes, that's because of the warm front passing, all this Gulf moisture rushing in. But you do see to our south that area of showers and thunderstorms very slowly drifting in the Gulf of Mexico, really not moving our way just yet. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. This is the surface chart, and we typically reference this to see what's going on in our atmosphere at the surface in terms of separation of air masses. Where are the different fronts and stuff? So we have a few areas that we're tracking. This is our main low pressure system currently located over Missouri. That is our main driver for our weather right now. It has a front associated with it, a cold front down stretching through Louisiana and Texas. That cold front is going to push our way, but it's not going to get here till Sunday. So right now we're dealing with a stationary front that's just to our north. That's what I meant earlier, that warm front transitioned to a stationary front. That means that we are in a warm air mass to the south of this, a colder and drier air mass over Texas, Oklahoma, and such. So we're still in the environment for showers and storms to develop. And really, there's not too much going on with this. This is the National Watch Warning Map as of around 2 o'clock. I took this around 1:45. And no real big warnings for the eastern half of the United States, even though we have this storm system in place here. All the stuff is out west, where we do have some blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, all that over there, even some high wind warnings for some of the higher terrain there. They're dealing with snow right now, but that system is not coming our way. Our system still positioned over the Mississippi Valley here and really not causing many issues in terms of alerts at this time. That being said, we do still have a risk for severe weather, and this is the national severe weather outlook, so across the entire nation. And you notice we are the only area that has any form of risk. It is a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather. This is a low-end threat for severe storms that is valid today until 6 a.m. tomorrow. In fact, we have a little bit of a low-end tornado risk, and I think this is kind of the main factor here. We do have high shear right now in the environment aloft. There's high shear. There's a big turning of the winds, a big difference in wind speeds as you go up in the atmosphere. That's why we have this low end, that's the lowest color of the scale there, tornado risk. But, you know, it's only 2%. It's a very, very low-end threat. So, much like we saw earlier today where we did have some water spouts offshore most likely, that's pretty much all we're dealing with. What about for tomorrow, your Saturday? Once again, we are the area that is of focus for the potential for some stronger storms. That level 1 marginal risk, once again, for your Saturday as well, meaning some of the storms that we see could become strong. The exact same thing here. There is a low-end tornado risk with this, but once again, low end. What about day 3? Well, Sunday, it looks like all the weather moves out. There is no risk valid for any part of the nation on Sunday. I also want to mention this. This is flash flooding potential. So this is not your severe risk. This is the potential for flooding rains. And once again, a low-end threat, but we will see some heavy rain tonight and into tomorrow. That is why we have this low-end threat for flash flooding that continues into your Saturday as well and shifts ever so slightly to the east there. So that's the summary of the kind of threats for us here, even though they are all low-end threats at this time. What we're about to do, we're going to go through Futurecast. We're going to go through a couple of versions of it so we can get an idea of what's going on, and I'll take this full for you in a second. All right, so we're going to start this off with the graph model. This is an in-house model that we have run by IBM. It's a higher resolution model, and we can see the representation. This is as of 2 p.m., so this is what the model thinks that our atmosphere looks like right now. It's not completely accurate, but it's doing a decent idea. It has a little bit of excess thunderstorms in the northeastern part of our area. That actually is something that's not there right now, but we can still gather some information from this projection. I'll take it full screen for you so you can take a look at it and focus on your area. As we get towards 7 o'clock, we are going to be watching to our south. This forecast model is resolving some kind of showers or storms to our south and west, and those slowly move in as we get later and later into the evening hours. We have football going on along the Gulf Coast, playoff time, and we're watching this forecast very closely because we have 4 games, important games in our area. But notice it doesn't take until after 10, 11 o'clock before the storms really roll in. And there they are rolling in probably loud fashion. There's probably going to be some rumblers in there. There's going to be some heavy downpours overnight tonight. As we get into tomorrow morning, this is 5 a.m., and you see an area of very heavy rain to our south. So if you're starting something early on your Saturday, maybe an early morning commute or something, especially along our coastal areas, prepare for that. And I think that's why we're seeing some of our rainfall forecasts indicating higher rainfall overall in our coastal areas, especially the Florida Panhandle. Otherwise, you can see on the map here, scattered to numerous showers, some embedded thunderstorms. This is as of Saturday morning, advancing this on. This is now pushing us through noon here. And this is something that we've been watching closely. I want you to take a look at this. Notice the coverage in storms lessens around midday on Saturday, according to this forecast model. Midday on Saturday, we have a slightly lesser coverage of storms before they somewhat return as we get to the evening hours. You saw that little wave push back in. This has been something that's been consistent with other models, and we'll go through another version of Futurecast in a moment. But something that we're watching there may be a slight midday pause in the rain before the rain returns in the evening on your Saturday. What about Sunday morning? Now, you can see it there, this weak band of showers. This is going to be associated with a front that's going to be kicking everything out of here. So by 6 a.m., we have those light showers around that continues to move off to the east, and then maybe, just maybe, by the end of the day on Sunday, we start to see some peaks of sun out there. All right, that was one version of Futurecast. Now let's go to a different version. This version here is the HRRR. It's another high-resolution model, and this one will kind of give us a different perspective on what we think could happen. So once again, this is the analysis as of, or the forecast as of 4 o'clock, the projection as of 4 o'clock on your Friday. It does have that area of rain off to our south, which is good to see. It does look like a pretty accurate synopsis of what's happening right now, because most of our area right now is dry. Putting this into motion, we're going to go to 8 o'clock, and you notice most of the area still remains clear. However, we do have a game in Gulf Shores, and this forecast model does try to introduce some showers along the coast. That's the kind of narrative that we've been going with as well in our forecast, the possibility of coastal showers. And then the wave coming in once we get overnight tonight and into your Saturday morning. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of rain out there, especially to start our Saturday. This forecast model does try to clear us out a little bit earlier, like late morning instead of early afternoon. But then once we get later in the day, we do have a continuous development of showers through the day on your Saturday, off and on, and continuing late into the day on Saturday, until finally on Sunday we begin to see some of this kick out. So these forecast models are constantly updating. We're constantly getting a new look at this. This is the rain chance forecast that we have gone with for tomorrow. This is a general thing for the entire area. And you can kind of see our lull periods. And it looks like there might need to be some adjustments on this, just kind of based on looking at the latest run of those forecast models. But long story short, periods of rain through the day on your Saturday. Therefore, you just need to make sure you have the rain gear ready and make sure you have something like the Fox 10 weather app ready so you can keep track of the radar and see what's going on. So that's the story for Saturday. Then those early morning storms on Sunday. How much rain do we get out of this? We're going to get a lot, especially in our coastal areas here. Now, they have backed off a little bit on some areas of the forecast, while other areas have gotten more numbers. So let's go to the full screen image there. In that orange, you can see around 5 inches possible. This is through the next 7 days, but the only big rainfall event that we have is coming for our Saturday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this is the current look, that 5-inch area along the Florida Panhandle coast, all the way stretching to Panama City, Apalachicola there. Other areas, 1.5 to 2 inches likely there. So there's that rainfall forecast, beneficial rainfall that we do need along the Gulf Coast. Here's a look at the drought monitor. We had an update on this on Thursday. And you can see now we're in kind of level 2, level 3 drought. So that's that moderate and severe drought. This has been steadily improving over the past day or so. I want to go really quickly through one of the ingredients that we talk about for potential for this severe weather. We're talking about this level 1 threat, and you're like, okay, well, what's causing that? Well, we have instability in the atmosphere that is being projected at least through Saturday. However, this is the run of the graph model that we showed earlier, and the colors you see is instability. And take that as anywhere where you see those colors, that's pretty much where we can have thunderstorms. You need instability for the development of thunderstorms. So anywhere you see the colors, the darker colors indicating higher instability. But you notice how it almost looks like it's getting cut off there as we get to the overnight hours. And that's going to be the story, I think, as we get through the evening hours. If we have a widespread area of rainfall that develops over the Fox 10 viewing area, that means a lesser chance for thunderstorms in the northern half of our area. Wherever the instability is, that's where the thunderstorms are. And you can see this forecast model is kind of picking that out. That's why you see the colors disappearing from the land areas and only existing offshore. So that's what we're tracking in terms of the severe potential, so a very, very low end severe threat. Giving you a bigger picture now on what the overall setup is. So that was kind of the local forecast discussion. I'm going to go through a couple more things. The main driver for this, once again, is a dip in the jet stream. This is typically what we deal with for this time of year. You can see this little dip here. I'll point this out for you. This little dip, this is a little trough, this little dip in the jet stream, that's providing the energy for this system. This gets out of here, as we get towards Sunday, and then we settle into a much calmer pattern after this. Another way you can look at this is the dips in the 500 millibar chart. This is the typical upper air chart that we look at to diagnose where our systems are. Anywhere you see the dips, anywhere you see the troughs, those are the drivers for our surface systems, like this cold front and warm front system that we have that we're currently dealing with. So you can see that little dip there. It exits our area as we get into Monday and Tuesday, and then we settle into what we call a ridging pattern. We have ridging in the western United States here, and you can see that indicated here, that big old bump, and that is indicating more fair weather for us as we get towards Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll advance this out into the long-term forecast, and notice how we don't get any significant dips in our area, at least through next Sunday. However, next Sunday, you can see that big old bowling ball, that big circle there over the west. That might be a next system that we're watching, but we do have a period through Sunday where we don't have any dips. So that means we could have a period of lesser rain chances. In fact, more fair weather as we get after Sunday. We've gone with zeros on the board Monday through Friday, so through the next 7 days. It does look like we go with more fair weather. Also, maybe more seasonable temperatures as we get through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Highs, this is your afternoon high temperatures that you're looking at, in the 60s. So that's going to feel much more pleasant, much more early December-like, maybe late November-like. It could almost be a little bit cooler for December, you think. But in the highs in the 60s there with some cooler mornings. So here it is once again, the summary with your 7-day outlook. We have that 100% chance of rain. Might drop that to 90, but that's numbers. I mean, it's going to rain tomorrow. It's going to rain tomorrow, but it just may not rain all day. So it's kind of the psychology of that 100% that you see up there. Otherwise, a morning rain chance on your Sunday, around 30%. Not the entire area seeing those rain chances on your Sunday. And then we go with that calmer weather Monday through Friday there in the extended outlook. All right. So that's a summary of your 7-day outlook. Once again, I'm going to go through Futurecast. I got them queued up again. I'm going to go through Futurecast once again. Just cycle through it. I'm going to let you see what you have. Remember, we're going to go through 2 model runs. First is the graph model, and then the HRRR. So 2 high-resolution models that can resolve some of these thunderstorms. Also, please note that I am monitoring the comments, so if you have any questions, please do ask. I'm monitoring the Facebook chat specifically there, so keep an eye on that, and I will be doing that as we cycle through this, and I'll take it full screen for you again. And let's go. So we're starting with the graph model here. Around 2:15 is when we're starting this right now. Advancing this through, this is 7:15. You can see those showers off to our south. That's something that we're watching. And then really gets in here as we go overnight. Those thunderstorms likely along the coast there. Maybe a batch of thunderstorms early on your Saturday morning. Rumbles of thunder possible. This is a midday on Saturday. You can see possibly a lull in the activity, especially inland, so keep that in mind. But then some indication of some slight return maybe as we get towards 7 o'clock on your Saturday. And then Sunday morning, a weak band of showers moves through. So that's the kind of projection that we're going with right now. Let's go to the HRRR. It's a similar story. We're mostly dry right now, mostly dry for this evening. However, later for those football games, like we saw in the graph model, we could see some coastal showers, so we'll be watching that very closely. Overnight, there's that blow up, and actually, I'm going to back this up. I think I'm going to back this up. Can I back this up? No. Okay, it's fine. I'll just let this run. We'll back it up in a second. 5 a.m. on Saturday, you can see that complex of storms. So I'm thinking around I want to say 3, 4 a.m. maybe to 6 for this batch of thunderstorms. It looks like this is becoming a bit of a trend on the models here. Early morning batch of thunderstorms along the coast there. And then a lull period midday, late morning, and then showers and thunderstorms return in scattered fashion later in the day on Saturday before that weak line passes early on Sunday. And I said I was going to back this up. I wonder if it'll let me. I might have to break this a little bit. Bear with me. I'm actually going to cycle through this one more time because there's things that I want to see as well in the modeling. So I'm going to go back. This is now 10 o'clock on Friday. Yes, so this is, I'm going to get this to 2 a.m. And I'm going to pop myself on here as well. So 2 a.m., this is with the HRRR, and we're watching this kind of area here. So it does look like, and this is kind of consistent with both the graph and the HRRR, that we have thunderstorms closest to the coast. So we can kind of summarize that everywhere south of I-10 has the higher potential of seeing those thunderstorms there. And then moving off to the north, more rainfall, even though this model, you can see kind of the reds. Anywhere we see the reds, sometimes we have the indication of thunderstorms, and you can see that there. And I'm going to advance this through. Let's go to, this is 3 a.m. A batch of thunderstorms kind of offshore, Mobile, Baldwin County, possibly some coastal thunderstorms, otherwise moderate to heavy rain. We do have that small potential for flash flooding out there. And by 5 a.m., and I think the reasoning behind the forecast model kind of clearing us out by 5, you have this complex of thunderstorms, and we kind of saw this earlier. We have a complex of thunderstorms to our south. This forecast model projecting on Saturday morning a complex of thunderstorms to our south. What this does is it sucks all the energy out to its north. So if this happens, we get this thing that pushes through. Likely we have a lull out there in the central part of our viewing area and areas to the north, especially north of I-10. So, and actually a question from Ray, any gusty winds with these? Based on this model trend, I'm saying the highest threat for a storm with gusty winds would be near the coast. However, according to that Storm Prediction Center outlook, any areas within our Fox 10 viewing area have the chance for some of the thunderstorms to produce some gusty winds. Not really anticipating any threats from the ambient wind outside of the thunderstorms. Sometimes, remember during storm systems, we sometimes get gusty winds outside of the thunderstorms. Not looking like that's going to be much of a threat for us today. But some of the thunderstorms, like we saw today, could have some gustier winds. In fact, one of the reports from Bay Minette earlier was about, I think it was 38 miles per hour. I'd have to reference the National Weather Service discussion there to see what they put out. But I think one of their stations measured 38 miles per hour with a thunderstorm this morning, which makes complete sense. That's the kind of energy that we have associated with these thunderstorms. That's the kind of stuff that these thunderstorms will produce. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. Jonathan Faust, hello. Thank you so much for watching. So that's the main story there. I'll run the rest of this model once again. And this one's interesting. It sucks the energy out early on, and then as we get towards later on your Saturday, only scattered showers, and then clearing us out by Sunday morning. And that's when that front comes through and we start to get that cooler air out there. Summary for some of the forecasts for the football games. Let's go to that. Pike Road, Saraland. So this one's in Saraland. All these games are local. All of our Final Four that we're covering here on 1st and 10 is going to be a big night for us. 68 degrees, 67 degrees for both these games. The chance of those isolated showers. But notice most of those models saying it's dry out there. And then the one that I'm interested in most is the Gulf Shores game. Cloudy, most likely a chance of an isolated shower. We'll be watching to your south, especially towards the end of the game. I have this forecast set for the beginning of the game around 7 o'clock. But towards the end of the game, that's the question. Do we have any thunderstorms that develop? That'll be something where you watch the app, you watch the radar, and see what comes at you, especially off to our south with this complex of storms that we have now off to our south. So that's some of those thunderstorms there. Once again, rain chances, we're in a lull right now. They pick up overnight tonight. And then for tomorrow, it's the big day with plenty of rain, periods of rain throughout the day, maybe lessening in coverage as we get later in the afternoon before the models figure that one out and we see what we end up happening. So there it is, the summary with the 7-day forecast once again. We do have some drier, nicer weather to look forward to, but we have the rain to get through on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be here with you all through the weekend, all through Saturday, from now all the way until pretty much Sunday morning. I'm going to be with you tracking all of this, so make sure you stay up to date. In the post for this, there is links to all the team's social media. Everybody, Jason Smith, Michael White, Jennifer Lambers, Matt Baerton, and myself, all of our social media. Make sure you're following our social media as well. It's a great way for you to stay connected and stay up to date because we're regularly posting as well. And that's a nice thing. It'll just come up in your feed rather than you having to seek out the information. Just trying to do our best to keep you updated as well. So that's the story for us here. I'm going to leave you with the 7-day forecast. We thank you so much for watching the 2 o'clock live here. We're getting ready for our 3 o'clock show. Now we'll be reviewing this forecast. We'll go through some of the futurecast modeling once again as well. I'll leave you with the 7-day forecast. Thank y'all so much for watching here on the Fox 10 Gulfstream on our social media channels. Get that Gulfstream app if you have a Roku, Apple TV. It's pretty good. You have access to all of these forecasts and much more. And of course, get that Fox 10 weather app. We're working hard to develop some stuff on that. We're excited for what we're doing, and more stuff will be coming to that app soon. So here it is, 7-day forecast for you. Thank you so much for joining us on our 2 o'clock live. We'll see you on the news at 3.